So we are gathered here today to talk about an illegal video game. Now, illegal video game, you might be thinking, what heinous amounts of uncivilized adultery does this contain? Or did it offend Anita Sarkeesian? It might have done the second one, I don't know. I don't know if she's ever heard of this game. But if she found out, she'd probably be upset. So the game we're talking about is Too Human. Title sounds like a Rob Zombie song, doesn't it? Well, the game is illegal because of a long fight between two companies. These companies would be Silicon Knights, for who made a bunch of weird old games and then eventually made bad games, but also in the meantime made Too Human. Then we have Epic Games. Now you know Epic Games because they make the Unreal Engine. The Unreal Engine that's been used for so many different games. Oh my goodness, and it's so many games now. But we're going to go over. So here's a small overview of the story of how it became illegal. So in May 2005, Silicon Knights and Epic Games then announced that Silicon Knights would be exclusively using Epic's big, brand new, shiny, awesome, graphically blah Unreal Engine 3 for all their next-gen projects. This includes Too Human, an X-Men game, and I think something else. The X-Men game and the other thing don't really matter. This is all about Too Human, the big game, 2007, Silicon Knights sued Epic over issues with the Unreal Engine. They believed that Epic Games had sabotaged them. Crazy, I know. Epic Games counter-sued Silicon Knights, saying they weren't paying royalties. The court sided with Epic Games, and they won the legal battle. They were awarded $4.45 million US. That's a big hit to Silicon Knights. One of the reasons they went defunct. That's not the only reason. Here's the big hit. The court also gave Silicon Knights until December 10th, 2012 to destroy any unsold software that was built with the Unreal Engine 3, and all unsold games must be destroyed, making them illegal to sell. So Too Human, through a weird legal court case, became illegal to sell. Now to go over the story of the game, and the gameplay, and kind of a general review of it. So, I know what you're wondering is that, how did I wind up with Too Human? Well, it was one of the first games I got with my Xbox 360. Fallout 3 was my first game, besides from the Kung Fu Panda / Indiana Jones kind of hybrid disc that came with the one bundle I got for my birthday, and I believe it was 2009. This was a long while ago. So, my cousins came to visit, and they hooked up their 360. Their 360, because mine didn't have internet yet, nor did I have the gold and such. So they were playing Too Human, and I don't really think they liked it too much, as we mainly played their GameCube they brought. When we played a lot of, I think the game was called Cell Damage. It was like a cartoon car combat game that was really fun. So yeah, but I found Too Human to be pretty interesting, as it looked really, really neat. And it is a really, really neat game. So yeah, that's how I ended up going with it. I think I got it after they left. We went to GameStop. I was like, wow, I have to get this game they brought. They said it has online, so I might be able to play with them and such. So, now Too Human isn't a bad game. It's a very interesting one. You're probably wondering what's it about, and well, I can't really answer that because the game's story is very long and kind of confusing. It's kind of like Dark Souls, before Dark Souls, but a little bit more linear. In a way. Basically, it's heavily based on Nordic and Anglo-Saxon mythology. Except instead of being in the Dark Ages, this game is based in a weird future, and the gods are instead weird cyborgs. So, Techno-Vikings. Think about that. Techno-Vikings is the game. You follow Baldur. I think he's the god of bald people or something. I forget. So I think the reason that some people don't really enjoy Too Human is because of the weird combat system. The game has a lot of shooting. Yes, the shooting's very simple. It kind of auto-locks on whenever you start shooting. And right trigger shoots, left trigger is kind of like special ability of your gun. So, the weird part is the melee system. The melee system kind of uses the sticks to move around your character's melee. It's really hard to explain how the melee works in this game. It's kind of like Sonic and For Honor mixed together in a way. You kind of move the stick, your left stick, direction you want to fly to, and then depending on which way you move the right stick, that's the kind of sweep you do, and you can do combos by moving them both up and down, and it's really complex and like really hard to use at first, so a lot of people are like, it's not just press spam X, or spam right trigger. So yeah, that's the melee system and the firing system. So the game uses a type of class system. You're all the same god, you're still Baldur, but you kind of pick your class at the beginning. Now these aren't really regular classes. Obviously, you're going to be seeing in the background, you have the Berserker, the Champion, Defender, the Commando, and the Bioengineer. What do these do? Well, Berserker is your super fast melee fighter, dual wielding, going crazy. You can get some pretty crazy combos going with him. The Champion is the jack of all trades, and kind of the one you probably want to stick with. The Defender is basically a prot paladin from WoW, complete with even a pally bubble if you go down the right spec tree. The Commando is, I like guns and explosives, and the Bioengineer is, I like healing myself.
The Champion represents Odin's divine force of retribution. A strong warrior, able to deal out a wide variety of caustic force field and anti-gravity based effects, increasing the combat effectiveness of his allies. One-handed weapons are the Champion's chosen tools of combat. With the blessings of Odin and runes of protection, the Defender is the backbone of the Aesir's defense. Heavy armor enables the Defender to absorb a tremendous amount of damage, leaving his allies to take the battle to the enemy unharried. The Berserker delights in the fury of close combat, foregoing defensive strategy in order to adopt all-out offense. Adopting a twin-blade fighting style and infused with the spirit of the bear, a Berserker will wade into battle for the glory of Odin. With the chap favoring technological gadgetry and standoff methods of warfare, the Commando specializes in the use of mines, countermeasures, demolitions, and rifles. Able to support his allies through long-range, harrying tactics, the Commando is truly a force to be reckoned with. A master of cybernetics, as well as mundane combat, the Bioengineer repairs damage sustained on the battlefield, increasing health bonuses of himself and his allies, enabling them to take the fight directly into the heart of the enemy.
Never played the Bioengineer. I've mainly always gone with Commando or Defender. And Defender's such a boring name. The game has an RPG style of loot system, with a common, rare, epic, legendary, etc. You know the works. It even has high-level gear sets, like an MMO for some reason. Like full-on sets that offer added abilities. And you can even customize this loot, sort of. You can change the color. There's a lot of different colors and pigments and dyes you can get in the game. That you go back to the main hub-style world, and you just like slot in all these colors, and you can look pretty cool or really dumb depending on what armor you have and what colors you pick. You can even change the color of your weapons and your guns and your shield if you have the Defender class. So yeah, so here's a little bit of trivia. The sound of acquiring a legendary item in 2 Human was used in the Dark Souls clone Lords of the Fallen. I did a Let's Play Lords of the Fallen, and I opened up a chest and it went and made the sound. I was like, wait, I've heard this before. That's from 2 Human. Like several years later, and I still remember this sound. Here's an example of getting it in 2 Human and getting it in For Honor. And again, awesome weapon already. Gotta take a lot of hits with it though, because you have such a long startup. But you do so much damage. And what's in this chest? Oh, shiny. What is it? Fate, an axe. So this is really weird when you think that the 2 Human was made by a Canadian development team and published by Microsoft on the Unreal Engine, when Lords of the Fallen 2 was made by 2 different companies, one from Poland, one from Germany, on the Fledge engine. I don't know, I just thought this was some random trivia I thought I'd throw into this video. So, there's also this kind of weird midway kind of class thing that you choose from. You basically choose more human or more cybernetic. And each of these has its own rewards and penalties. I don't remember which one does which exactly, but I do know that cybernetic allows you to use the 3rd class of guns. There's 3 classes. Pistols that you can dual wield, rifles that also have a grenade launcher, and then there's cannon minigun things that also can launch missiles for some reason. Yeah, that's really powerful. If you want to make the game stupidly easy, you choose Defender, which is a guy with tons of defense, and then you go Cybernetic eventually, so you can have tons of attack and tons of defense. Your melee just sucks. But it doesn't matter, because you have a minigun that shoots missiles. So the game has a online co-op function, or it did. Not sure if the servers are still up. I have not tried to play the game anymore. It is Microsoft, so they might still be up. You still might be able to play co-op through this game. Not sure. So, this is the first game I used an online mic on to talk to some random person, and the conversation went pretty much like this. This was a while ago, so I don't remember it fully, but it was basically, stranger, talking as a stranger. Are you new to this game? Me. I was like, yeah, I just got it yesterday. Stranger, why aren't you meleeing them? Me, I don't know, I just like shooting them. Stranger, don't be an idiot. Start doing this. He then proceeds to air juggle multiple enemies all at once. Like, just amazing. And then I said, well, how do you do that? Then the stranger leaves. He could have explained how to do things better, but you know, online people. Random online people. So here are some pros and cons of the game. I would say some bad things are, every time you die, you have to go through basically a cutscene of a Valkyrie basically picking you up. She moves you about 5 feet, and it takes forever. It's kind of annoying, as sometimes it puts you right in the middle of a bunch of enemies, and you wind up almost dying again, having to go through the cutscene another time. Sometimes the cutscene doesn't play, and it just kind of moves you back further, which is kind of annoying also. So yeah, some enemies are also very annoying. There's several missile ones that kind of outrange any weapon you have and can one-shot you. They can and will one-shot you multiple times. There's also kind of swarms of poison guys, and the poison lasts forever. The poison will stick on you basically a very long time, and you'll basically die by it. You die a lot in this game. So combat can be very tedious, especially in the later parts of the game, where you're just fighting through mobs and mobs and mobs of enemies that are mixed in with elite enemies which don't die very easily. So yeah, your AI allies are mostly useless. Sometimes you'll get another god type fellow to come and help you, but for most of the fighting, the soldiers are useless, and the slightly larger melee soldiers are also kind of useless. In the later parts of the game, they eventually die and become zombies. Yes, the game has zombies. Why? I don't know. It's kind of cool. Back when this game was made, it wasn't overused, so it can be a positive or a negative depending on how you think. The designs are okay for the zombies. Yep. So there's a kind of a negative. Thor in the game has neither red nor blonde hair. Instead, he has brown. Why? I don't know. Why he has brown whenever in ancient lore he's always had red, and in Marvel he has blonde. Don't know. It's the game. It's creators. It's their vision. So, all in all, 2 Human is a weirdly complex game that somehow ended up in the same bin as the Gaia game. I give 2 Human an 8 out of 10. So yeah, bye. Some random thing I forgot to mention. is this game actually has pretty cool video settings. That it has settings for each kind of TV. Like it has CRT, LCD, plasma, and even DLP. Doesn't have LEDs because I don't think those are around when this came out. But you have CRT mode for my HD CRT. Alright, so here's something a little bit extra. You can still go to the game's store page. If you have the game. You can still get the themes. You can still see achievements, the gallery. And everything, you know? All the stuff. But you can only get that by going through the game. If you go to games, search, right? And you search for Too Human. See, there it is, Too Human. It will... Sorry, the search isn't available. Status code 200. So, the store page sort of exists, but not really. So that just shows, you can't sell it anymore. Alright. This is gonna be it, I guess. So I kind of left this out of the first initial dialogue in this review, but Too Human was meant to be a 3-part series of games. Too Human 2 is called Rise of the Giants. It has a cool artwork piece